Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. The weather has turned and I really loved the cold girl makeup from last year, so let's do an updated look. My 2023 version is just going to be a more wearable one. I'm going to use Glow Hub's Baby Beam in the shade Light Beam as my base. It's really creamy in texture, so it's very easy to blend and it just gives such a beautiful glow to the skin. I'm using the Morphe 2 foundation brush to apply it. I posted a dedicated video to shorts about this product because it's such a good alternative if you find that the lighter shades of Flawless Filter and e.l.f. Halo Glow are too orange. I'm showing you as much of this in real time as possible so you can see how easily it blends. I want my skin to look extra glowy because I think that the sparkles on the eyelids and the red lips look better with a luminous base. Sticking with the glowy theme, I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation in the shade 2N. This is one of my favourite foundations of all time. It's so lightweight but gives a really beautiful luminous finish. The coverage is also really good for how thin the consistency is. I'm using that same Morphe 2 foundation brush to blend it in. Since they're both base products, I'm not bothered about them mixing. The undertone of this particular shade is so good for me, it's probably one of my favourite shade matches ever. Fun fact, I was so desperate to get this foundation when it first launched that I paid £20 shipping to the UK. This next product is quite a recent addition to my collection. It's the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Hydrating Concealer in the shade 03 Fair Rosy. I chose this shade because it looked like the lightest one with a cool undertone and I wanted to use it under my eyes. I always find that pinks counteract my dark circles the best. I like placing my concealer quite low down under my eyes and then blending upwards so that I don't get too much product build up under my eyes. It's a really nice lightweight but high coverage concealer. In the close-up footage here you can really see how luminous it is. My skin so far is looking nice and glowy. This look doesn't lend itself to too much chiselling, but I am going to add a little bit of contour. This is the KVD Beauty Mod Con Liquid Gel Contour in the shade Fair Cool. Despite the name, I wouldn't say it's particularly cool toned, but it is nice and blendable. I'm just using my fingers to blend it out. It adds some structure back into my face without making me look too done up. I'm also blending out my nose contour with my fingers. And then I'm enlisting the help of the Coco Cosmetics Marshmallow Sponge just to make sure the contour on my cheeks is nice and seamless. I usually find that brushes and sponges absorb too much of my nose contour, so I just end up using my fingers. It's possibly because I don't apply very much product there in the first place, but c'est la vie. Now for one of my favourite parts, this is the Cheek Slime by Freck in the shade Fever Dream. I needed about 1/10 of the amount I squeezed out. This stuff is really pigmented and very red, so I went back in with the Coco Cosmetics by Chloe sponge. The gel consistency means it never really dries down completely, so you don't have to worry about it setting. I'm focusing the product across the centre of my face, making sure I take it right into the sides of my nose, along my cheeks and across the bridge of my nose. When I was in the Arctic Circle on holiday last year, I can confirm that my face was this colour. And now that we're done with our cream base products, I'm going to set everything in place using the Kosas Cloud Set powder in the shade Airy. I'm pressing it in mostly on my T-zone using the Charlotte Tilbury powder and sculpt brush. I love this powder because it's amazing at setting, but it doesn't make everything too matte. The luminosity of the base products is still shining through, which is exactly what I want. I find that this powder lasts longer when I press it into the skin. I love the look of bushy brows with this type of look, so I'm going to use the Refi Brow Sculpt. First I'm applying the gel directly to my bare brows using the spoolie end. It does look white at first, but it dries down to clear. I let them dry for about 30 seconds and then I use the other end to comb them through, which keeps them really nice and bushy. My brows won't drop as long as I use both ends. Because it doesn't dry straight away, if you accidentally apply a bit too much to a particular area, you can just use your finger to remove it. Then I leave them for another 30 seconds or so and I go on to brow pencil. I'm using the Shaper Defining Eyebrow Pencil in the shade No. 2 Craft Brown by Unleashia. Because I've already mapped out the size and shape of my brows using the gel, I'm just using this pencil to fill in any areas of sparseness. The pencil is very slightly darker than my natural brow, so it gives them a bit more definition. To make my eyes look as big as possible, I'm lining my lower waterline using the Charlotte Tilbury Sleep Cheat Liner Duo and specifically the Brighten end. Then I'm curling my eyelashes using the Tweezerman curlers. They're nice and thin, so really good at getting to the base of the lash. I haven't used this mascara for a while, but it's one of my favourites. This is the Rimmel Thrill Seeker mascara. It's a really dense black, so it gives such good definition. I'm just applying a couple of coats. My eyes look much bigger when my lashes are curled, and this mascara doesn't weigh them down at all, so it's perfect. I always get mascara on my eyelids, so I find it easy to do my mascara, wait for it to dry, and then do my eyeshadow. I'm using the Champagne Shimmer shade in the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked Butterfly palette. It has a warm brown reflex, so I think it looks really nice as a base when I'm going to follow it with a very icy shimmer. I'm diffusing it outwards with a brush, just making sure there are no harsh lines. Now for liquid eyeliner, I'm using the KVD Beauty Tattoo Liner in the shade Trooper Black. I was planning to do a slightly smaller wing than this, but God had other plans. I'm starting from the middle of my lash line and working outwards because I have quite round eyes. As you can probably tell, I'm not very good at applying liquid eyeliner. Now for my favourite part of the look, this is the With Love Cosmetics Pressed Glitter Pigment in the shade Snow Angel. I'm applying it with my finger and I'm pressing it into the inner corners and then just blending it outwards. I don't want it over my whole lid, but I also don't want any harsh lines. Is this not the ultimate icy eyeshadow? I love it so much. Talking of icy, to make the look a little bit more ethereal, I'm using the zeesea Time and Space highlighter in the shade Light Blue on my cheekbones. I'm also dusting a little bit on the tip of my nose. The pigment is so intense and the blue reflex keeps it really nice and cool toned. It wouldn't be a cold girl makeup look without a red lip. This is the Peach Sea Blurry Filter Tint in the shade 04 Flash Red. It has sort of a souffle texture. I'm applying a little bit to the centre of my lips and then using my finger to blend it out and diffuse it. I find that slightly pursing my lips and then pressing matte products in makes my lips look nice and pillowy. This red in particular has a cool undertone, so it's perfect for this look. And now for one of my favourite setting sprays of all time, this is the Benefit The Professional Super Setter Spray. Like the powder I used earlier, it sets without being overly mattifying. It also helps to melt all of the makeup together. And we are done. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, please let me know what you think in the comments. Goodbye.